I took my first goal setting time management course at one of my jobs in the early 90s. Complicated planner books, pages and pages of to do lists and project lists, prioritizing A, B, C. I don't know, they're all important. Dozens of tabs, inserts that let you move your to-do list forward to the next day and the next day and the next day forever. I don't understand that one. None of these complicated planning systems have ever actually helped me reach any of my goals. How about you? More importantly, none of them have helped me set better goals that actually pull me forward towards achieving them. I still had to push. I still had to use sheer willpower. And here's the deal. No one, yes, I said no one, can maintain sheer willpower for 24/7 for days and days on end, or weeks or months on end, the time that it would take to actually reach a goal that you might set for yourself. No one can do that by sheer willpower alone. I don't care how determined you think you are. I mean, it happens, but there's underlying things going on too that make the difference between the people who reach their goals and people who don't. If sheer willpower actually worked, everyone would be running around with lean, fit body, six-pack abs, perfect health, eating perfectly. They would be driving the fanciest cars, making tons of money, doing work that they absolutely love. They would be in the fanciest houses, on and on and on. Now, I know everyone doesn't want these exact things, but you get the idea. If sheer willpower worked for achieving goals, we would not have so many people wondering how to reach their goals. Everyone would just easily reach them. But that's not the case. So, today we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes that people make with goal setting that keep them from getting what they want. The 5 mistakes that you might be making to keep you from getting what you want. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Hi, I'm Jen Kunkel, the creator of the Wildworth Method, empowering you to stop feeling insignificant and to instead unleash your wild, savvy self. That wild, savvy you who knows exactly who you are, what you stand for, and what you want in this life. And the you who is building more confidence day by day to boldly step into the juicy life that you crave. And when you have a streamlined system like the Wildworth Method, it becomes way easier than you might think. Okay, so on to our topic today, which is the 5 mistakes you might be making when you're setting goals that keep you from getting what you want. First of all, you might be setting goals based on the expectations of others and social conditioning, things that you think you're supposed to do, that you need to have. It's kind of like keeping up with the Joneses, the people next door, like seeing what everybody else has, seeing what everybody else is setting their goals as, and you set your goals in accordance to that. Or maybe you have parents who have set certain expectations for you your whole life, that you're going to be in a certain career. Maybe you're from a family of doctors and lawyers and that's what they expect you to be, but you're just not feeling it. So if you're setting goals from a place of other people's expectations, it's not really on your heart, and you're not going to have that inner motivation and that inner drive to achieve those goals, and you're going to have to push harder and harder than ever, and it's actually going to feel like a struggle because you're not finding joy in that, because you know in your heart it's not really the goal that you want to go after. So that's the first mistake, and what you do instead is you set goals that are based on what's on your heart, on who you really are at your core, who you really desire to be, actually, because you could be, if you have a lot of expectations and a lot of that conditioning from your family or from society, you could actually be going through life kind of as someone who you're not, and you're out of alignment with who you are in your heart. So, that's one of the things that we work with in the Wild Worth method and some of the other mini programs that I have that are pieces of that. And we have worked with you to help you figure out exactly who you are and what's on your heart. That's why this goal setting system is actually unique and different and will get you the results that you really want, because you're going to have that inner drive. So the next mistake that people make that keep them from getting what they want is a lack of focus. You're setting too many goals at one time. You're attempting to work on too many goals at one time. I'm super guilty of that because I have all of these ideas that I want to work towards. One thing I noticed, though, was when I focus pretty much on just one thing, one core goal, I can make that so much easier than if I have all these different goals, even if they're in different areas that I'm working on at the same time. Now, having this one top priority goal that no matter what, I'm going to do the actions that I need to do for that goal, and then everything else kind of comes secondary. Actually, it's even better to just have tunnel vision towards that one thing. Sometimes that's impractical though, but you still need to do life, right? You have to find that balance for you, and that's a big piece of it. But just, if you set, 10 goals or something and you're trying to work on them all at once, you're going to be very scattered. You're going to be very, you might do a little bit here on A, B, C, D, E, F. That's even just, 6 goals, which, it's not unheard of. Somebody might want to lose weight, they want to make more money, they want to quit their job. It's like starting multiple businesses. I always have lots of ideas. So I have found myself working on multiple projects at the same time, and I've realized that I need to focus on one at a time, and when I do that, I actually start moving forward. Because instead of laying a block on this project and this project and this project and this project, even if there's only 3, okay, so I'm going to spend an hour with a block on this project, an hour laying a block for this project, and an hour laying a block for the third project. That's 3 hours. If I had done that on all 3 projects, you're stacking them. So I have 1, 2, 3, I get further along, assuming that my goals are height. Okay, so you get the idea there. So focus on one key goal at a time, and then when you kind of get into a groove with that one, you got your routine down for what you need to do. Even if you haven't achieved that goal yet, you could start on another one, like smaller pieces, but it's just keep in mind that that time and energy may take away from the time and energy that you're doing for your first goal. Now, it kind of depends on the goal, because some things you can only do so much in one day towards, like working out. If you work out for 2 hours a day, you don't necessarily want to go work out for 4 hours a day to make more progress, because that doesn't really work that way. You would end up just being too tired. So if you have other goals that don't involve those same activities and you find yourself having time for them, then go for it. The third mistake that people make when they are setting goals is not having a plan, or the opposite, having this overwhelming, complicated plan that's all over the place and makes it really challenging to get a handle on. Instead of doing that, you need to, first of all, have a very clear strategic plan, and you're not going to be able to plan every single thing, every single piece of it, because things change, because you misjudge what you're really going to need to do. You forget about things that are coming up that might interfere. Like, let's say that you have a fitness weight loss goal. You might forget about a party that you're going to, or a reception, or you might have something unexpected come up where you're not able to stick with your exact plan. So keep it flexible, but also chunk it down into manageable pieces. Instead of saying, I want to lose 60 pounds by the middle of the year, then break it down into smaller pieces. Okay, I want to lose my first 5 pounds in the next 2 weeks. then it seems more doable. It doesn't look like this huge, great big thing that just messes with your mind and makes you feel like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to do that? It's like the saying that they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I know we're not actually eating elephants. It's just because it's something big, and then you just start one thing at a time. All right, so that is how you do that, is you just chunk it down into manageable pieces. And if that's difficult for you to do, no worries. I have something for you coming up at the end of the video, and it is going to be absolutely free for you to participate in that. So stay tuned for that. We're almost there. The fourth mistake that people make is a lack of momentum. They set a goal and they don't do anything to move forward on it right away. However, if you take some kind of action on a goal the moment that you set it, or within a few minutes of when you set it, then you are going to have much greater success, much greater possibility of reaching that goal. Especially if you can think of something, an action that actually puts you into momentum, that gives you it'll kind of pull you towards that next step. Let's say you're an artist, but you're kind of, you don't want to show people your work. You're not sure it's good enough. You're worried about that, and you've been afraid to show your work. Well, if you want to move forward on maybe becoming a professional artist, selling some artwork, or even just showing it, maybe your first manageable chunk is to just show that artwork. So a step that you could take is you could actually call someplace and set up a way to show your artwork. Maybe a local bookstore or a local coffee shop, and you can ask them if you could just do like a little private show for your artwork, or hang it on the wall, anything that you could do to move yourself forward towards that goal. If you want to learn how to cook better, you could take the one quick action of signing up for a cooking class. Get the idea there. So you're going to do something very specific that will move you forward on your specific goal. So that's the fifth mistake, or the fourth mistake, and how you resolve it. The fifth mistake is actually at the root of most of the issues, and that is not addressing limiting beliefs. It's not addressing the things that are deep within your core, in your heart, in your soul, that are holding you back. Past baggage, just limiting your own self-worth, the self-doubt that you might have that you're actually capable of achieving this particular goal. So that is a bigger picture. That's something that really goes deep. And if you find yourself struggling after having all the other pieces in place, then you need to go look and say, oh my gosh, what do I have? What am I believing about myself and about my ability to achieve this goal that's actually holding me back? And I have a whole system of tools that addresses that and that helps you overcome limiting beliefs, releasing past baggage that's keeping you stuck. And this is actually part of the Wild Worth method, but also it's going to be its own program, that like a membership, because that's more of an ongoing process. So we'll talk more about that later. But in the meantime, if you have the systems and the structure and you can chunk things down, you can definitely make it easier on yourself. And if you don't really have a lot of limiting beliefs around a particular goal, that's all you need. And then you can start to get in touch with where you're running into obstacles. And you can start getting in touch with what sort of limiting beliefs that you might have. And that way you can start addressing them. Because the first thing you need to do to address a belief that is holding you back is to notice it. So that's it. That's the 5 mistakes that people make when setting goals that keep you from getting what you want, and a little bit of strategy to move you forward on those. Now, if you want to go deeper on that, I have a fantastic opportunity for you. I am going to be doing an Extraordinary Life Blueprint Challenge. So if you want next year to be the best year so far, and when you set your resolutions, you actually are not just setting resolutions, but you're designing a blueprint for your own extraordinary life, then you're going to want to join me for this challenge. So you can sign up now. It's a 5-day challenge where we're going to go through the framework of the Extraordinary Life Blueprint and how it addresses these 5 mistakes that people make that keep them from getting what you want, so that you don't get hung up by those mistakes. So sign up today to join the Extraordinary Life Blueprint Challenge. In 5 days, you can address all of these mistakes. You can set goals and resolutions in a whole different way, where you're really just laying out a blueprint for what you consider an extraordinary life. Okay, so sign up today to join me for this 5-day Extraordinary Life Blueprint Challenge, where we will actually sketch out a draft of a blueprint for your own extraordinary life, whatever you consider extraordinary, and we're going to address that piece too, so that you're not just setting goals, but you're mapping out the design of your own life the way that you want it, the way that God put it on your heart to have it, and you're gonna have just 5 days to show you how to set goals in a whole entirely new way, where it looks at the big picture, all the pieces are interconnected, and you're gonna see how this makes a dramatic difference before you even think about setting New Year's resolutions this coming year. So sign up today to join me for the challenge, and we'll get you some extra goodies ahead of time if you sign up way ahead of time. If we're closer to when the challenge actually starts, it's going to be the last week of December 2021 that we're going to be doing this challenge. It's just a few minutes of your time each day, but it is going to be so powerful and so impactful, and you are going to see a drastic difference in the way that you set your resolutions this year, and better yet, you are actually going to be on a path to achieve them and make them happen, and they don't fall flat by March. All right, so sign up now. Join me. Thanks so much for tuning in, and as usual, if you like this video, please share it, subscribe, like it, spread the word, spread the love, let other people know about this challenge, invite a friend to do it with you, and that way you can have an accountability partner, accountability buddy just right on the spot. All right, I will see you next time. Have a fantastic, wonderful day. Take care. Much love. And remember, you're more